In this video, you will learn how to use the art history brush to convert a conventional 3D rendering into something that's more artistic. Open fallingwater.psd and then create a new blank layer by clicking this button. Then fill this new layer with white pixels. Do that by choosing Edit Fill and use white. OK. So white will be like the canvas color of a new painting that we're going to create. And we're going to create that using a special brush called the art history brush. It's located right here. The art history brush samples its paint color from the background layer, and it makes a brush stroke that is controlled by one of these style algorithms from this list. Let's try dab. Choose a 30 pixel soft round brush and make a brush stroke. So this is obviously more complicated than the soft round brush. What's happening is the brush stroke is being passed through this algorithm called dab, and it's adding this gestural information to the brush stroke, and it's sampling the paint from the background layer, which is the initial history state in this document. So let's try a different algorithm. Tight, curl, long. Make another brush stroke. You see what's happening? We're getting all of this complexity from this algorithm. Try tight, short, and make another brush stroke. Every time you do it, you're going to get a slightly different result. And if I just hold the mouse here with the mouse button held down, you can see that it continues to change. And that's because this algorithm is always active while you have the mouse button down. So in order to create an underlaying foundation for this painting, I'm going to paint most everywhere. Maybe I'll leave some areas of the canvas white. And then I'll just go ahead and reduce the brush size by pressing the left bracket key. I'll go down to 20 pixels and paint over some of the building. And as I do that, you might notice that the building is coming into slightly sharper focus on this pass. And that's really just a function of the brush size. So again, I'm going to reduce the brush size even more by pressing the left bracket key a couple of times. And now I'm down to a 10 pixel brush. And then I'm just going to go over parts of the building. And as I do that, it's coming in to a little bit more detail, more focus is appearing because the brush is smaller. But it's going through that same algorithm all the while. And I'm going to not paint over this building in the background. I'll leave that kind of blurry. Maybe I'll go over some of the sky so I can get rid of that pigment that's in the sky to some degree. And then I'll go again to a smaller brush size by pressing the left bracket key a couple of times. And I'll just follow that up by painting over some of the building. In particular, the silhouette of the building should be attended to, and some of the detailed areas, such as the windows, can be covered. Again, I'll press the left bracket key a few times, and I'll go over the windows to add additional detail in these areas where I want to draw your eye in, and also maybe over here in the silhouette area. So the process is very loose and organic, and you're going to get a different result every time you do it. So it's this process where you start with a large brush to create your foundation layer, and then you proceed to decrease the brush size and continue to add more and more detail to areas where you want your eye to see. And if you add too much detail, like over here I think I added too much, I can remedy that by increasing the brush size again and painting over that area to blur it out. And then I'll go back down again and paint in the areas that I want to have in a little bit crisper detail. Finally, once you're satisfied with creating this artistic rendition, you can decrease the opacity of this layer and mix it with the original 3D rendering to arrive at a balance between the original rendering and the more artistic version. So, to summarize, you've learned how to use the art history brush to take a conventional rendering and to impart a more artistic or looser feeling to the image.